Hi, hello, and welcome or welcome back. I suppose I wasn't going to be filming anything else today. I am I am filming this the same day that I've filmed and edited my I'm Glad My Mom Died review, and I was meant to just be starting the next book tonight. I thought I can read it in a few days. Taylor Jenkins Reid, pretty easy reading. Look, for the first time in my sort of reviewing saga, I have been doing this for, I believe, 5 years now, which is insane to me. I'm pretty sure I started in 2018. I have always made it my mission that I will not review a book if I do not finish it. And given that I am reviewing, I try to finish everything. And in the past, I've just soldiered through because I can read a good book and review a good book, even if it's not great. And we also know that I can review books that are dog shit. I have done it multiple times, even before I was filming my reviews. But if a book is really middling, like it's just a bit dull, there's nothing too much positive to say about it, but it's hard to say something negative about it as well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that as a reviewer. So, I picked up Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm on page 1, I'm expecting not to be wowed, but you know, that first page is what's meant to make your reader go, yes, brilliant, I want to read more, and I was going, oh, is this going to drag? Because it was just action, 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 incredibly robotic. But I thought, look, I can't entirely judge by a first page. Sometimes, unless it's like completely fucking awful, sometimes a first page isn't as eye-catching as we'd like. I will read to the end of the first chapter, see how that goes. Same sort of feelings, like this is a bit dull. We could do with picking up a bit on something, and not picking up on pace or action or anything. But if you're going to drop me in action, as this first chapter does, the first page and the first chapter, it needs to be something a bit more exciting. Yes, a tennis match within this book would be exciting, but yes, it's the catalyst for Carrie Soto coming back, but why do I care about that at this point? I don't know who Carrie Soto is. And as I got past the first chapter, or like that first little, the first chapter, it's kind of more like not a foreword, foreword, I guess. Sorry, my brain's it's a bit later in the night than I'd usually be filming, and this book has shut my brain off. So, I think this book is meant to be a bit like a memoir. That's what I'm gathering, the way things are being told. But that only really works. Like, there are reasons this doesn't work. I'm not scripted. I've got 2 pages of notes on an A5 notebook. And half of one of those pages is just the repeat of what I said earlier, with the word action repeated over and over again on bullet points. So, for example, earlier this week I read Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I read that because A, she's somebody that I grew up watching, and B, I find the things she is talking about interesting. People coming forward about abuse stories, and I think in particular the idea of mother-daughter abuse, which isn't particularly spoken about all that much, and just in general, child stars coming forward to see and talk about the effect that has on them. I found that interesting. Or, for example, on my shelf, I know I have Drew McIntyre's memoir. I have Christopher Eccleston's. In my audiobooks, I have the Young Bucks. I have, that's Bucks. It's more wrestling, as is Mox's, right? Those are people that I have those because those are just people that I'm interested in, that I have a connection to because I watch them, sort of thing, right? I don't know who Carrie Soto is because she's not real. I need more background to go into a memoir. But unfortunately, it's like, I need more of a reason to care. I need emotions and feelings here, apart from the fact that sometimes she gets really angry. But, like, yeah, I'd imagine she would. She is a child prodigy who has very high expectations. And the thing is, I'm sure if I did continue reading this book, that would be brought into the fore because I'm seeing it repeated a few times. It's that I'm meant to come into my potential, but you just keep talking about the potential I have in the future. But the thing is, right, that's getting really repetitive. I am 50 pages in, a little over. I think I got to like page 55, right? '52, beginning of one of the chapters. I got there and I just went, I can't do any more of this. It's just dull. It isn't right. Throughout my reading of this, I was thinking I could just quit early and get more New Moon written tonight. I've read New Moon before. I know how fucking boring that book is. And yet, I can have a real bitch sesh about the way that that's boring because it's also, problematic and actively badly written. But this, it isn't badly written in terms of from a technical standpoint kind of deal. I'm not being met with typos. I am not being met with unintentionally problematic characters. Like, I wrote here, I feel like I did when I was a kid at my grandparents, and my granddad always had some sort of sport or sports program on if he wasn't out. The sport itself is interesting enough, even if I'm not an avid fan. He often had football, cricket, snooker, anything like that. Like, if there was a sport on when he was home, he was watching it. But then the pundits come on, the interviews come on, that sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, I don't care about this personally. I'm not interested in these people because I don't know about the sport. I don't care about them. I don't know about Carrie Soto. And you haven't made me want to learn. And yeah, I could read another 30 or so pages to actually get me to the quarter way of the book. Right, quarter of the way through the book, because I haven't. But I think 50 pages is enough to know whether or not you have made me want to continue. Because I always have 50 pages as my marker, or a quarter if it's like a really short book. So I have books on here that are like 100-ish pages. 50 pages is half that. I will go for like 20-25 pages for that. So my conclusion for this is just, yep, I didn't finish it. And I'm allowing myself that a bit more. And not like I can't be bothered reading this, I'm not going to finish it. If I have things to say about it, then I will talk about it. I'm trying to see if there's... I've got rid of a lot of books, but... I'm trying to see if there's anything on here that I, didn't do a really in-depth... So, I've got a few... Apart from the No Show, I've got, the Flat Share and the Switch. Books that I really love, but I feel like when I did my reviews of them, I didn't go really in-depth. But I know I loved those books, and I was invested quickly. I remember with the Flatshare, I read it all in a day, and not because I was reviewing it. or at least not just because I was reviewing it. I have a feeling that there was a little bit of like a time constraint thing there, but most of the time, if I'm reading a whole book in a day that's like, off the top of my head, it's probably like 300 pages just by looking at it. A book that long in a day is hard for me, and I have to physically make myself do it. I didn't have to make myself do that. I sat, I believe, in my mum's room or something. There was work going on in the house, so I was just sitting there with the dog at the time because he didn't like strangers. But point is, I just sat in there and I just read all day and I loved it. I fell in love. I couldn't do that with this. I was trying. And it's a shame because, like I said, I really loved The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and I was looking forward to this, but you know, I am glad this is a library book at least. And at least what I have coming up next should be interesting. I'm covering Inuyasha next week, which is actually probably what I'm going to read tomorrow now, because fuck knows I don't want to be reading any more of this. Like, my goal for tomorrow was finishing this and filming a full review of it. It's not happening. You're getting a did not finish, and I'm fine with that, honestly. If I have anything else like this, where it's just like a, it's not that it's it's not that it isn't good. It's not even that it's not that it's good. It's not that it's bad, but it's so in the middle, just nothing feels like it's happening, that I physically cannot finish this. Because, like I say, I can review good books. I can review bad books. How do I review something that is just a book? So, I hope you have. I know I'm meant to do all my usual rambling at the end of this, but this was a bit of a rambling video, so, you know, feel free to leave it. I know I'm just, like rambling, but listen, you're getting what you're getting. Feel free to subscribe. I'm usually a lot more talkative and animated and in-depth with my book reviews, but this is what you're getting today. Feel free to leave any comments below. Have you had any books like this that you just couldn't finish? Not because they were bad, but just because they also weren't good. You just couldn't finish it because it was just a book. And tell me if you read Carrie Soto and if you felt any differently with this. Like, I really would be interested to know your opinion, because I'm wondering if it's just me. If this is one of those situations of, have I just, like, read a really good book, so now my brain's trying to set standards or something, but I'm just not vibing with this. Hopefully my next book will be better. I believe it will be. This is a, like, classic manga, as far as I'm aware. This is a manga that I've heard a fair amount about. Mostly from Karina, from Drawfee, I'll be totally honest. But, yeah, and as always, let me know if there are any books that you would like to see me review, and I will try to find them at my library because it's cheaper, as in, it's free, or if I have to reserve it, it's 75 pence. It's still cheaper than buying books. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourselves. Right.